They told us to sit still, to speak less, to think like everyone else, but we were wired differently, and that difference is our power. Welcome to the Neurodivergent podcast. My name is Philomena Gaikunge, and I am so glad you're here. If your brain works a little bit differently, or a lot, this podcast is for you. We are talking real stuff, unmasking the workplace, living in a world that wasn't built for us, finding community, and rewriting the rules. No expert jargons, no filters, just honest stories, neurodivergent voices, and new ways of seeing the world. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Philomena. You're probably wondering why I'm telling you, where is this place you found yourself? But first I'm going to tell you a story, a personal story, the story of my journey. 6 years ago, 2019, as we record this is 2025. 6 years ago, I became a mom. And during my pregnancy journey, it was such a happy journey. There was a lot of dreams, a lot of ambitions. In fact, we had a book where we wrote everything that we wanted for a child. We wanted a doctor, we wanted a pilot, we wanted everything in one. And like any other parent, we waited. And the day came, 2nd of August in 2019, and our girl was born. And we were happy, we were elated. Our parents traveled to come and make merry with us, and we took our baby home. And we had a script of how a child should be. 3 months, the next should be up. 6 months, they should be sitting. 1 year, they should be walking. 2 years, they should be parrots in the house. We had it all in our minds, but this was not the story. This will not be our story. And I remember at 3 months, I traveled to come home to meet my mother-in-law. And when she picked me at the airport, she couldn't stop looking at the baby. And she tried to ignore it a bit. We entered the car, and even before we left the airport, she just parked on the side and she said, "Bring that child, I want to look at her." And she looked and she was quiet, and we went home. Fast forward, she started making phone calls. I'm the last born in my family, so really I didn't bring up any child. So I didn't even know that at 3 months, a child should have achieved this and that. And then she had to sit me down and tell me something is wrong. This neck should be firm by now. The baby is 3 months. And so we started on a journey. She took me, she called doctors here and there, and we went in to see the doctors and we started therapy. At 3 months old, our baby would cry. Therapy was very hard on the baby. They'd just throw the baby on the balloon, and it was traumatic to say the least. But still we kept hoping that, oh well, maybe this is just the neck. But at 6 months, our baby was not sitting. In fact, I remember on her first birthday, we had to put pillows around her so that she could sit down to cut the cake. And so our journey began, a journey of a lot of judgment from people, a painful journey. Every parent wants their child to be what the society perceives to be the norm. And the society came at us. Parents would come to our house and they'd pray that whatever we did wrong to God, He should just forgive us. And it was just bad. So I grew a skin. I started slowly growing a skin where I decided I will not be taking my child to open places. I will not take them to meet my friends. Not because I was ashamed of my child. I am not at all ashamed by my child and who she is, but because I thought I was protecting her from the world. I was protecting her from people telling me things that would demoralize me. I was protecting her from comments that would make me lose hope of or lose sight of what I wanted for my child. And that has been my journey. Fast forward 3 years, we've not potty trained. And I could see kids who were born after my child just come up and thrive. But my script was different. It wasn't going to be the normal script. And no one had anything good to say about my child. Everyone around me would look at me with, is it, I don't know what to say. Everyone would just look at me as if I was a sorry case and at my child. And people walked on eggshells on matters when it came to my child. And that got me angry. But thank God, because still around my family, I had very supportive people. So we went on with, what is it called, therapies and what have you. And at some point, our child started walking at 2 years. And we thought, this is good enough. Our child is walking. So she's walking. If she wants something, she will point at it. And it was good. But then as a parent, you always have that extra dream for your child, that thing that you want for your child to achieve, that thing that only you can believe in your child. And so I turned into prayers. Lots of them. I have prayed for my child. I think if God has a book, my child has a lot of books in heaven, because I have prayed for my child. And I believe God has done what I've asked him to do in my child's life. Just that it might not be what I thought, because sometimes he answers in ways that we did not expect him to. Or rather, we do not even have the right script for life, because simply because another child can tie their shoelaces and mine can't doesn't mean mine is an invalid. It just means that mine functions differently. And so we went on with this journey of people telling me, you need to have another child because probably this is not a child. And in fact, I remember when we had our second child, someone openly told me that finally you will know how it feels to have a child. And I couldn't help but be confused whether what is this that I had was my first child, not a child. And this is the society. This is what they will keep hammering. This is what they will keep saying. Because I have come to the realization that when this society doesn't understand a thing, they brand it. Every time it's an enigma, they have to give it a name. Every time you want to be different, they have to give it a name of defiance, of negativity. It's never really a good thing until they know it. Even with technology, when technology came in, it was branded a lot of things that it wasn't. With AI, people will brand it. There's always something. We always have to attach a negativity to what we do not understand. So we took our child to school, and she started making a few words, and it got to a point, and we thought, because the report forms, when they come, everything is it's either exceeding expectations, she's meeting expectations, but we knew that she wasn't. So we knew that it had to be that the schools we are taking her are private schools, so they have to please us. They are not really after what is good for a child, they are after what is good for us as parents. And I remember I sat the teacher down and I told him, I know my child cannot make speech, so why would you say that in things that are related to speech, she's meeting the expectation? And we kept looking for answers, of course, in places that were not offering us these answers. We kept comparing our child with children our age, just like any other parent. And we kept wishing. We wish that she will talk. We wish that she will do this and that. Until one time, and I will refer to a story in the Bible. There's a story that says, there's a very, very common story in the Bible of Jacob and Esau. And when Esau is getting, the father calls him and tells him, go get me some meat and I will bless you. And Rebecca, the mother of these two boys, overhears this conversation. So he calls Jacob and he tells him, I will prepare the meat and you will dress in animal fur so that your father will think that it is Esau. And just like that, he gets the blessing of his brother. And when Esau comes, he's crying and he's telling his father, do you not have more blessings for me? And the father tells him that I don't. So he tells him, you will live under the yoke of your brother until you grow restless and you break this yoke. And this now was me trying to break the yoke that had been given to me, that the society was offering me. So by the grace of God, I met someone who referred me to KISE, that is the Kenya Institute of Special Education. And I met very, very, very welcoming people who sat me down and told me, it's time to do assessment for your child. And I forgot to say this, I had really not wanted to do assessment for my child for the longest time, because I had figured that what I didn't know was not going to harm me. So for the longest time, I'd said I'll not do assessment. My mind is not ready, because what they will tell me might leave me paralyzed. So this lady sat me down and she told me the importance of assessment. She told me this is not a sickness. It just took me through the process. And we decided we were going to do the assessment. So we went to Kenyatta Hospital and they sat with us, and 10 minutes down the line, the lady started asking me, how far have you gone with your education? I said, I've done my master's. He asked my husband, who are you? He said, I'm an engineer. And he asked us, who in your family drinks a lot? We said, we do not have, or far people who are not even directly related to us. She just had so many questions. And then she told us that our daughter will never get to graduate, that she will never be anything close to what we were. And I remember her telling us, well, maybe it was supposed to be consolation. She told us that there was a governor somewhere who didn't get very good grades, but he still made it to be governor. So a child could be that. The point where this nice doctor, she was actually nice, this nice doctor told us that our child would never achieve the things we wanted for her. It killed me. It almost sent me to depression. And I remember the following weeks, I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat. Oh, and I forgot to say, she said that our daughter would be easily swayed by strangers because she would not have the words. She would not be able to say no to strangers. And I just went crazy that my daughter will be abused and wouldn't know about it, or wouldn't know how to say no. So I was stuck, and for weeks, I just wallowed in self-pity. I didn't know what to do. If I had the option of taking my child back to my tummy, I would. But life was not going to offer me that. I had to make a decision. And I started attending meetings of adults, of children who had this condition. Or the doctor said my daughter had ADHD and had IDD. IDD means my daughter can't learn like we can. It means she will be very slow in her learning. So I started attending these meetings, and I met people from all walks of life who had this same problem. I wouldn't call them problems, who had this, who are going through the same. I met CEOs with ADHD. I met everyone basically, and I started understanding what this big enigma was. It wasn't a death sentence. It wasn't anything that I had been told. It was something different. And I remember at the meeting, at the start of one of the meetings, the lady asked a question that it would seem I'm the only one who did not understand. And I remember her asking, how many lanes is your mind on at the moment? And I couldn't get it because, oh well, my mind runs on one lane. So she asked, are you on a superhighway or on a very super highway? And the answer started coming. I'm on a very super highway. I'm on the express highway. And I couldn't get it. But 5 minutes into the meeting, I understood what it was that these people meant. It meant that when our mind runs on one idea, these people's minds run on 5. It means that their minds multitask. It means that they are different. It means that their minds are different. Not wrong, just different. And it was at this point that I decided to start a whole new journey. A whole new journey where I will be redefining the position of my child and the position of so many other children and adults who have it rough in this community because, like I said earlier, when we do not understand something, we brand it. This position that I want to take, and the question is why they decided to call it special needs. And someone asked me, who is special? Is it the need or the child? But it is just sad that this society does not realize their needs are not special and the community is not doing them any favors when they give them what they need, because they are also people who are equally shareholders in this community. They deserve what is to be given to them. And with these forums that I've been joining, they've just opened my eyes to a lot of things. Statistics says that 1 in 5 people is a neurodivergent. In this room, we are 4 people. So probably one of us is, maybe me, maybe the next person. And it just reminded me in the classes, we used to have these students who would answer questions before the teacher finished asking them. We used to have these people who couldn't just sit down for a whole 2 hours in preps. Somehow they'd just be found not seated, and the teachers would have a name for them. They'd be called, what is the word? Big heads. And they'd be on suspensions. Every other time they'd be going home. And their parents also, who wouldn't understand them, would come, punish them, and even take them to go, what is it called? Juvenile court, because they never quite understood them. We'd have these kids who would read and read without end, and still at the end of the exams, they would get nothing. And because we did not understand them, we just thought, oh, this one's, maybe they just don't get it. But now I come to the realization that there's dyslexic people, there's autistic people, there's people with ADHD, there's people with there's a whole lot of spectrums out here. It doesn't mean they're invalids. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. It just means that their mind works differently. I recently listened to a lady who said that their child at 11 years could not write his name. But then they changed this child's school, and in 1 month, the boy came back speaking, reading, doing math, and everything. And I asked myself, what could have been the problem? And the problem is that this boy was just in a school that did not understand his needs. And isn't this the case with all these children? All these adults who've grown up in a society that will judge a fish by its ability to climb the tree. Where else we know that if this fish is placed in water, it's going to thrive, it's going to swim, it's going to survive. But this same tree cannot climb a tree. So is this the same way we're using a society that at 2 years, my daughter should be doing this and this, and we're using it that if she's not doing, we do not want to know what else she can do. I will speak about my daughter because this is my story. My daughter is very intuitive. She can almost get answers from you before you speak them. My daughter will tell from miles that you're not okay. Recently, we got a help who came and she had a lot in her plate. And my daughter saw it. The minute she walked in, my daughter could tell this lady was not fine. So the first thing she did is she sat her down, she gave her water, she gave her the Bible to read. She did a lot of things. She cannot speak, but she could tell things that I cannot tell. So what is the society to do with this mind? Is the society supposed to call it all the names we've tagged it, or is the society simply supposed to embrace this new that they can't understand? And another thing with my daughter is that she's very straightforward. If the food is nice, she says the food is nice. If the food is bad, she will say, "Mom, this is not nice. I don't like it." And isn't that the kind everywhere I go, on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, everyone is talking about how their friend stabbed them on their backs, about how someone betrayed them. So isn't this a relief in the society that there's actually someone who will not stab you on your back because they will simply come at you with the truth? But then again, we are a society that fears the truth. So I don't know whether we are ready for these beings, we are ready for these gifts. And I call them gifts because I don't think they are needs. If there's someone in the society who will come and tell you the truth for what it is, then I don't see how it should be a need. It should be a gift that the society should openly embrace and welcome. These kids deserve a place in the society. These kids deserve equal rights as anyone else. These kids deserve the love. Like I said earlier, I've been protecting my child from my house. I will not take her to social gatherings. I will not take her where because I don't want people to say things about her that will hurt her. But the truth of the matter is, I, as the caregiver, and you, as the caregiver, we are not bringing these children up to stay in our houses. We are bringing them up to grow in a society that has everyone, that has people who will be rude with them, that has keyboard warriors, that has people who do not care about them. So we cannot practice football in a volleyball pitch. It always has to be, we have to practice it in the football pitch. What if I'm not there tomorrow? Who will hide my daughter in the house? So it is for me, it is for you. We have to fight from a stance of victory for our children. Fight for a space for them in the society. Give them a voice. Give them a place to fit in the society. Educate this society so that they can know it's not really, they are not really the problem. No one is the problem. It is for all of us to create spaces for these children. And that said, we cannot fight for our children from a position of ignorance. There's a lot of caregivers with children who they have not even exposed to the world, who do not know what is accessible for their children. If I had kept my daughter in the house without doing the therapy, right now she wouldn't be walking. And this is the case with so many other parents, and especially, you're lucky if you're in Nairobi. But if you're outside Nairobi, there's not a lot of information about what to do with these kids. In Nairobi, we are so fortunate to have Kise. Kise has everything. It's a heaven, I should say, with very welcoming and warm therapists. Like for my daughter cannot sit still. So recently we've been told to do hydrotherapy where they just go and swim in hot water. And she's fine. Part of her, she calms down and she takes in. This is not medicine. This is just an exercise. This is just something that helps her organize her thoughts so that she can deliver. And we've seen wonders. So you as the parent, my question is, what are you doing about your child? Are you seeking for help from people around you? If you do not have a KISA near you, just go also to hospitals. Hospitals have these departments where they can offer all these things for your children. Just Get the knowledge, all the knowledge you can collect about your child, all the knowledge you can collect. There's forums, there's support groups. There is so much around us that we do not know that we can access. And once we're able to access that, we will be helping our children, because what our children need, some of it is not even readily available. We might want to turn to the government, we might want to turn to organizations, we might want to turn to well-wishers. But the truth is, it starts with you. It starts with you believing that your child can do it. It starts with you knowing what it is that your child likes, what it is that your child can do, what it is. If your child is a swimmer, just dwell on it. I remember my late father, may he rest in peace, he used to tell me, forget education, forget positions in class. This child has something that the world doesn't have. This child has something that the world will stop to look at. And I didn't understand him because, of course, I was operating from that place of anger. And I just wanted for my child to perform in class. But he was right. There's a whole lot of things. Right now, tables have turned anyway. All the education we have, there's those who don't even have an education who are doing far much better. So don't focus on the grades in class for your child. Don't compare your child with the neighbor's child. Don't compare your child with even your other child. My other child is too fast, if there's such a thing. At less than 2 years, she can sing, she can do things. There's nothing that she cannot do. So if I decide to compare my 6-year-old with this 2-year-old, it will be a dishonor to this child. So don't compare your child with anyone. Just walk with the journey with your child. You're the one who knows. You're the one who can fight the best battle for your child. You're the one who lives with a thorn on your leg. So it's either you join me as we create this space for these children where they can thrive, where they can feel at home, where they cannot feel like outsiders. It is a world that was not made for them, but it is a world that they found themselves in. So let's embrace it. And like I said, just because I can tie my shoelaces, just because I walked before 2, just because I think that I have the right brain, it doesn't make it right. Today, when this lady who did my makeup was doing it, it got to a point and she put something, I don't know what it was, but it was totally white. And as she started now bringing my color back, and she had brought just this portion, it looked as if this was wrong. It was as if it would have been right for her to put the white again. But that didn't mean it was right. This was my color, the white wasn't. So this is what this society has become. A society where what is right because the majority are doing it. But what happens to the minority that could actually be correct? What happens to that minority group that is struggling to fit in? If we are actually the people who are using our brains, if we are the people whose brains are functioning as they should, if we are the normal ones, then why are we also the source of hurt for the ones who are not normal according to this society? My child has moved from being called so many names. She's been branded so many names by the society. And I remember one time there was a child, my daughter was trying to play, and I remember a small boy saying, "Huyu mtoto hayuko sawa." And I almost came out to ask that boy what sawa was. But because still, like I said, I was in my phase of anger. If I did, then I don't think I would have been a good parent. But it is my question to all of you. You as the neurodivergent, you as the caregiver, you as the ally to these people. What is your position? How are you fighting for these people? How are you making sure that they are comfortable? And how are we making sure that we actually get what they are good at? Because some of the things they are good at, we can never even compare. Like I said, what these 6 lanes mean is that these people, they have extra focus. They have the best focus. When you find that one thing that they do, like my daughter is a builder. When she starts building, she can go as high as can go. I don't know right now from this position, I don't even know what career that will be. It's outside my understanding. But it's a journey I'm willing to walk to find out what that means for my child. I've met kids. I've actually met a kid who couldn't even open the tap, but her mathematics was campus level. And the boy was under 10. These are the kinds of people. Let's not judge people. Let's not judge a fish by its ability to climb the tree. Let's put these kids in positions where they can thrive. Let's have education. The people who what are they called? The people who put together this curriculum developers. Let's have them come up with things that will fit our children. Let's have communities. The church. Oh, I'll repeat the church. The church is supposed to be a home to these children, but most times the church has been the worst in welcoming these kids. And I remember even with my child, one time we went to church and it was during consecration and my child just let out a sound. And I remember one of those men, the leaders in church, just telling us to go out. He didn't care that this child also wanted to be part of this consecration. He didn't care that if this is a disease, like the society calls it, that maybe during that consecration, this child was also crying to his God to come to his rescue, to her rescue. So I'm calling to anyone who is in this space, directly, indirectly, to just come up with ways to make space for our children. This is my story. And it hasn't been an easy story. It's not, and it's not going to be anyway. But I am now ready. And as I call you also to be ready, let's fight this battle together. Let's create space for these children. Let's have leaders in the right places. Let's everyone. And I have to say, I saw it somewhere in a group that a leader was called to come to one of these forums. And the leader didn't come and he just donated a tank. I don't know what the tank was supposed to do. But let's be more open to learning and to understanding these people. So yeah, I welcomed you to a podcast when it began, but I didn't tell you the space I was welcoming you to. So welcome to the Neurodivergent podcast, a groundbreaking podcast that centers the voices, experiences, and insights of neurodivergent individuals, from entrepreneurs with ADHD to artists with autism, educators with dyslexia, and more. This podcast will educate, empower, and elevate conversations around neurodiversity, building thoughts, leadership, and demonstrating our commitment to inclusivity and innovation. This podcast celebrates brilliance of minds that do not follow the script. We dive in conversations that challenge assumptions, amplify unheard voices, and explore what happens when we stop asking people to fit in and start building a world where everyone thrives as they are. I am a mother to a neurodivergent child. Whether you're a neurodivergent, a curious ally, or somewhere still figuring it out, this space is for you. Each episode, we dive in conversations that challenge assumptions, amplify unheard voices, and explore what happens when we stop asking people to fit in and start building a world where everyone thrives as they are. Different does not mean broken. Different means powerful. So my call today is for anyone, a caregiver, a neurodivergent, an organization, advocacy groups, healthcare organizations, with information, with stories, with ideas of what can be done, what we should do, how we should approach, and how we should build a community that is actually open to these children, to these adults, to anyone who is in this space. You're welcome. Please share with us your stories. Come, let us sit down. Let us talk about it. Our email will be on the screen. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking your time to join this platform. Feel free, feel at home where we do not follow the script. We are here just as we are. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.